July 17th, 2024, will be etched in technological history for all the wrong reasons. It was a day that started with the promise of progress, but quickly turned into a nightmare for millions. A day that began like any other, quickly descended into chaos as millions of Windows computers worldwide were struck by a crippling wave of system crashes. Offices buzzed with confusion, and the hum of productivity was replaced by the groans of frustration. The culprit? A faulty update from cybersecurity giant CrowdStrike. This update, intended to bolster defenses against cyber threats, instead became the very threat it sought to prevent. What began as a routine security patch designed to protect systems from malicious threats ironically morphed into a digital plague, leaving countless users staring at the dreaded blue screen of death. The once reliable machines turned into bricks, and the digital world came to a standstill. The fallout was swift and severe, impacting individuals and organizations alike. From small businesses to large corporations, no one was spared from the digital carnage. Tech support centers were overwhelmed, and the usual calm of IT departments turned into frantic efforts to restore normalcy. Airports were thrown into disarray, flights grounded, and financial transactions stalled as banks grappled with system outages. Travelers were stranded, and the financial sector faced unprecedented challenges, with transactions halted and accounts inaccessible. The global economy shuddered under the weight of this unprecedented technological failure. Stock markets fluctuated wildly and businesses faced significant losses. The ripple effects were felt in every corner of the world, highlighting the fragility of our interconnected systems. This is the story of how a single software update brought the world to its knees, the vulnerabilities it exposed, and the urgent need for more robust cybersecurity measures. It was a wake-up call for the tech industry, a stark reminder of the potential consequences of even the smallest oversight, and the lessons learned for a future increasingly reliant on secure and stable digital infrastructure. As we move forward, the importance of rigorous testing, comprehensive security protocols, and resilient systems cannot be overstated. The events of July 17th, 2024 will serve as a crucial case study for years to come, guiding the development of safer, more reliable technology. CrowdStrike is a name synonymous with cybersecurity, a trusted name in the digital realm. Their endpoint security software is deployed by organizations of all sizes, from Fortune 500 companies to government agencies, to safeguard their systems against the ever-evolving landscape of cyber threats. Their products are designed to detect and neutralize malware, ransomware, and other malicious intrusions before they can wreak havoc. In an era where cyber attacks are becoming increasingly sophisticated, CrowdStrike has earned a reputation as a stalwart defender, a guardian at the gate of the digital world. Their software operates silently in the background, constantly scanning for suspicious activity and providing a crucial layer of protection in an interconnected world. However, as the events of July 17th would demonstrate, even the most robust defenses are not infallible. The very software designed to protect became the source of disruption, highlighting the delicate balance between security and stability in the digital age. At the heart of the global system meltdown lay a routine software update released by CrowdStrike. These updates are the lifeblood of cybersecurity, providing critical patches and definitions to combat emerging threats. They are typically deployed automatically, ensuring that systems are equipped with the latest defenses. However, the update released on July 17th contained a critical error, a fatal flaw in its code that triggered a catastrophic chain reaction within Windows operating systems. This error, a single line of code gone awry, would have devastating consequences. Instead of targeting malicious files, the faulty update mistakenly identified critical system files as threats. This triggered a cascade of false positives, leading the software to quarantine or delete essential components of the Windows operating system. The result was a catastrophic system failure, a digital seizure that left millions of computers across the globe inoperable. Section 4. Blue Screen of Death, Anatomy of a System Crash. The infamous Blue Screen of Death, or BSOD, is a sight dreaded by computer users worldwide. This dreaded screen is often accompanied by a sinking feeling in the pit of the stomach, as it signifies a major problem within the system. It's a stark blue screen signaling a fatal system error, a point of no return where the operating system can no longer function. The screen is often filled with cryptic codes and messages that are difficult for the average user to decipher. On July 17th, the BSOD became an unwelcome sight for millions. This widespread issue caused significant disruptions, affecting both personal and professional activities. The faulty CrowdStrike update triggered this critical system failure by corrupting or deleting essential system files that Windows relies on to operate. These files are crucial for the smooth functioning of the operating system, and any corruption can lead to severe consequences. When these files are compromised, the operating system loses its ability to function correctly. Users are left staring at their screens, helpless and frustrated, as their computers fail to respond. The BSOD is essentially a last-ditch effort by the operating system to prevent further damage. It acts as a protective measure, halting all processes to avoid any additional harm to the system. It halts all processes, displays diagnostic information, and forces a system restart. This information can sometimes help in diagnosing the issue, but often it requires expert intervention to resolve. However, in this case, the damage was already done. The corrupted files had already caused irreversible harm, making it impossible for the system to recover on its own. Restarting the system proved futile, as the corrupted or missing files prevented Windows from booting up properly, trapping users in an endless cycle of system crashes. This loop of crashes and restarts left users with no choice but to seek professional help or perform a complete system reinstall, leading to loss of data and productivity. IT professionals had to step in to troubleshoot and resolve the issue. This often involved identifying the corrupted files, restoring backups, or even reinstalling the operating system from scratch. Eventually, with the right expertise and tools, systems were brought back to life. Users could finally breathe a sigh of relief as their computers returned to normal functioning, but the incident served as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities inherent in our digital world. Section 5. Ground Zero Airports and the Travel Nightmare. In this section, we delve into the heart of the chaos that unfolded at airports worldwide, turning travel into a nightmare for millions. The impact of the CrowdStrike update was felt most acutely in sectors heavily reliant on digital infrastructure. Airports, with their complex web of interconnected systems, were particularly vulnerable. Airports, the bustling hubs of global travel, were thrust into chaos as their systems ground to a halt. The usually efficient and streamlined processes were replaced by scenes of utter confusion and distress. Check-in counters went dark, baggage handling systems froze, and departure boards displayed a symphony of delays and cancellations. The digital backbone of airport operations had crumbled, leaving staff and passengers alike in a state of bewilderment. Passengers were stranded, their travel plans thrown into disarray. Families with young children, business travelers on tight schedules, and tourists eager to start their vacations were all caught in the turmoil. The lack of functioning computers meant that airlines were unable to check in passengers, issue boarding passes, or manage baggage. Staff, trained to handle routine operations, found themselves grappling with a crisis of unprecedented scale. The once orderly flow of travelers through the airport transformed into a scene of confusion and frustration. Security lines stretched endlessly, and the usual navigation through terminals became a daunting task. The ripple effects were felt across the globe as flights were delayed or canceled, leaving passengers stranded at their destinations or unable to return home. The interconnected nature of global travel meant that a disruption in one part of the world had far-reaching consequences. The economic impact on the airline industry was significant, with losses estimated in the billions. Empty planes sat idle on tarmacs, and the financial strain on airlines grew with each passing hour of the crisis. The situation exposed the vulnerability of critical infrastructure to cybersecurity incidents and the far-reaching consequences of such events. It was a stark reminder of the importance of robust digital defenses in an increasingly connected world. Emergency response teams were deployed to airports, working tirelessly to restore systems and assist passengers. The efforts to bring order to the chaos were monumental, highlighting the resilience and dedication of those on the front lines. Passengers shared their harrowing experiences on social media, and news outlets provided continuous coverage of the unfolding drama. The world watched as airports struggled to recover from the digital catastrophe. In the aftermath, discussions about the future of airport security and advancements in cybersecurity took center stage. The lessons learned from this incident would shape policies and practices for years to come, aiming to prevent such a nightmare from happening again. Section 6. Financial freeze banks and the global economy stutter. The financial sector, the lifeblood of the global economy, also found itself reeling from the impact of the CrowdStrike update. Banks heavily reliant on real-time data and secure transactions were crippled by the system outages. ATMs went offline, online banking platforms became inaccessible, and credit card transactions were declined. The inability to access funds or conduct transactions sent shockwaves through the global economy. Businesses were unable to process payments, consumers faced difficulties purchasing goods and services, and financial markets experienced volatility as investors reacted to the uncertainty. The interconnectedness of the global financial system meant that the impact was felt far and wide. The situation highlighted the critical role of cybersecurity in maintaining financial stability and the potential economic consequences of a major cyber incident. Governments and central banks were forced to intervene, providing liquidity and reassurance to stabilize markets and prevent a complete financial meltdown.